Hey guys, welcome to another video from NZPocketGuide.com, and on today's series of New Zealand's biggest gap year, where a couple of years ago Robin and I did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. In this episode we are visiting the Te Anau Glowworm caves, which are pretty epic. At the end of this video we're going to go through some of the comments and questions you guys had during the first time round when we published this video, so we can provide you with more travel tips about the Te Anau Glowworm caves. So let's get to it. After 10 days of adrenaline and adventure, we are finally leaving Queenstown. We are now heading along the side of Lake Wakatipu and making our way to the Southland region, which is the very southern part of the South Island. And our first destination of Southland is going to be Te Anau. Te Anau is the gateway to the Fiordland National Park, and we are getting straight to business.
We are at the Real Journeys office to do a Te Anau Glowworm caves tour. So there's not just glowworms in Waitomo, there's actually glowworms hidden on Te Anau Lake.
After grabbing our tickets from the counter and being explained quickly what the tour is all about, we are boarding the boat. We are being greeted by the entire crew of the Real Journey vessel, and they all tell us that the weather today is gonna be a little bit iffy, so we better be prepared for a windy ride.
So right now we're on Lake Te Anau. We are going to check out some caves, whirlpools and even some glowworms on the other side of the lake.
Despite the weather, Laura and I are determined to make the most of what we think is going to be the best part of the tour, which is the cruise on Lake Te Anau. Lake Te Anau is world famous for its amazing scenery. It's right on the edge of the Fiordland National Park, which is one of the most protected parts of the world. And the lake is huge. It's actually the biggest lake of the South Island and is only the second biggest lake of the country, right after Lake Taupo.
It's worth staying up here on the top deck of the boat and braving the wind to really embrace this amazing scenery around us. It's a real hint of what the Fiordland National Park is like, because actually on this lake there are 3 fjords on here itself. We are taking pictures of amazing towering mountains that reach up to 1,700 meters high.
As soon as we arrive on the western shore of Lake Te Anau, it's time for us to unboard and start making our way toward the cavern house, which is where our tour is gonna start. The walk is taking us on an awesome pontoon above an amazing beach and then straight away into the stunning virgin forest of the Fiordland National Park. The Fiordland National Park is well known to have really thick and almost impenetrable forests, and that's definitely the feel that we get as soon as we get inside the forest.
As soon as we get into the cavern house, we are given an overload of information about this cave that we're about to explore, as well as the glowworms. There's lots of information on the walls, and we are also meeting our guide Vedant, who is telling us all about the fascinating life cycle of the glowworms. We're watching a little bit of a presentation which actually has some incredible close-up footage of the glowworms in action, which is really awesome to see.
Long story short, the life cycle of the glowworm is hatch, eat your brother for sustenance, create some dim light to catch some fly, eat the fly, become yourself a fly, live for 2 days to try to reproduce, and then you're dead. Although I am fascinated by the glowworms and the display that they present in caves, I'm really not envious to the actual lifestyle.
And now it's time for us to get inside the cave and start exploring. So luckily there is a walkway through here, and it's a very small and intimate cave. We have to actually bend down a few times to make our way through. Vedant is showing us a few different features of the cave, like a tomo with water spilling from it, which is fresh water so we can drink from it. And soon enough we get our first glimpse of the glowworms. The really cool bit about this glowworms is that it's lit up just on the side, so we can actually see what the glowworms look like up close. We can see those sticky threads hanging down, which actually look like beads of jewelry. It's really awesome.
Another really unique feature on the glowworm caves right here is that there is not only glowworms in here, there is also eels and even trout which are swimming upstream inside the caves. I didn't know that such a thing as cave trouts existed. But we are mostly here for the glowworms, so we are boarding a little boat in the middle of the cave that is taking us under an amazing displays of glowworms. Our camera footage really does not do justice to what we are seeing right here, because we really just have to hold the GoPro and hope for the best. It was an amazing display and we got so up close to the glowworm. It was a super intimate experience with those amazing creatures. We loved every second of it.
On the way back, we learned that Te Anau means the cave of the swirling water current, which you can definitely see why as we see this awesome waterfall right in the middle of the caves. There's lots of different limestone features along the way, and in geological terms, this cave is actually really young. It's only about 12,000 years old, meaning that the whole cave is forming as we speak. It's not fully formed yet.
We're leaving the cave in awe of what we just saw. It is an amazing place to visit. It is so small, intimate, young, and so much to offer. I really love that tour. But Vedan has much more to tell us today, and he's taking us toward another part of the complex where he's going to be telling us more about the conservation that they're doing right here with the native bird species. After spending a few minutes talking to us about the famous takahe, he's giving us the massive plush toy to take some pictures, and we are back on the boat, ready to make our way back toward the little township of Te Anau, where we have quite a few days left to explore the area. There is an amazing bird sanctuary, and we're also taking you right in the heart of the Fjordland National Park.
Alright, let's go through a couple of questions and comments that you guys asked the first time round when we published this video a few years ago. So first we have Fiz Aslam saying, if you had to pick one, which one would you prefer? Te Anau or the Glowworm Caves in Waitomo? Okay, so that's quite a hard pick. But it depends on what sort of activities we'd want to do. So the good thing about the Waitomo Caves, which are in the North Island, is that you can also do caving there under the glowworms. You might have seen from previously in our 365 days road trip, we visited the Glowworm Caves and we did blackwater rafting, which is tubing through the caves and doing abseiling and really having sort of like an epic adventure underground, but also getting to see glowworms at the same time. So if you want to do more of an adventure activity, that is the way to go and do the Waitomo Caves there. Whereas in Te Anau, they have a walking tour, and as you saw from the video, they do the walking tour as well as a little bit of a boat floating experience under the glowworms. They also have that in the Waitomo Caves as well, but I think if you were just to do if you wanted to just do a walking tour with the boat, the boat experience in there as well, I think Te Anau is probably just a little bit further up there in my opinion. I really like the fact that when you're walking through the caves you get to see some different formations, for instance like the waterfall in the Glowworm Caves as well. So Te Anau sort of has those sort of experiences, whereas in Waitomo, before their boating experience you actually get to see some stalactites and stalagmites from the limestone caves. So yeah, they both offer very different experiences. So it kind of depends on what sort of things you want to see. And if you're only traveling the South Island, then you might as well go to the Te Anau. Glowworm Caves are probably the best sort of commercial glowworm caves that you can go to in the South Island. Alright, I hope that answers that question. Let's move on to something else. We have Why in the World saying, how come you guys got away with videoing the glowworms? They give strict instructions during the presentation in the Cavern House. No cameras. Yeah, so when we were doing a lot of filming during New Zealand's biggest gap year, we actually got in touch with the companies first and said that we wanted to film, and that way they could give us basically special permission to do filming. They don't want to do too much. They don't want customers to do filming of the glowworms, first of all because it's actually quite hard to take photos and film glowworms, so usually they don't want to hold up the whole tour by people sort of, you know, changing all their settings and trying to work out how to film the glowworms. But also too much sort of direct light on the glowworms can be a little bit harmful to them, so they don't want people flashing their cameras and stuff at the glowworms too. So there are reasons why they have those sort of restrictions in place, but yeah, just because we wanted to do this video on YouTube, they gave us special permission to do it. We asked very nicely, that's the way to go. So yeah, I hope you guys found that video useful and all the extra travel tips at the end useful. But if you want to get more travel tips, check out nzpocketguide.com for more information about things to do in Te Anau and also more information on the different places to see glowworms in New Zealand. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next video.